You've got some major Disney World decisions to make today, but which ones are the right decisions and which ones are going to be redonkulous? We're in the parks every day, and believe me, we've made all the bad decisions so that you don't have to. We're here to help guide you down the right path. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. So picture this, you've come to a fork in the road on your Disney World vacation. Which path are you supposed to take that'll help you avoid ridiculous problems for the rest of your trip? Today, we're going to be giving you a few different scenarios that could have multiple outcomes, but unlike during your vacation where you've only got one chance to do things right, we're going to show you where either path could potentially lead, even if you choose the wrong one initially. That way, you'll be able to recognize how to make the right choices during your visit when it really counts. Okay, this fork in the road is pretty easy, so don't worry about overthinking it too much. When it comes to paying for your Disney World vacation, do you take path A and pay full price for everything, or take path B and find the discounts on hotels and tickets and food and merchandise before your trip? See, told you, this one's a no-brainer. We're gonna ease into this whole video. Disney World gets expensive, really expensive, so finding ways to save money is always gonna be worth that extra effort, especially since the money you wind up saving through discount opportunities could end up being hundreds, if not thousands of dollars when all is said and done. I get emails from people all the time telling me literally that they saved thousands and thousands of dollars based on blog posts that we put up or videos that we put up or even Instagram posts that we've got. So it works, I'm telling you, and we're here to help. So if you look at the special offers page on the Disney World website, you're bound to find something that'll help you save money on hotels or tickets or vacation packages or sometimes even the Disney dining plan, depending on the time of year you're booking your vacation. And you know what? Disney's not really forthcoming about this little page. They gotta bury it way down in the menu on their website, so you really have to search for it. But we're always looking at it, and we're gonna make sure that you know via our newsletter or here on the channel in our latest news videos every time a discount comes out, what the discount's for, and all the information you need to know, including like deadlines to book that particular discount. So if you are not a newsletter subscriber, it's totally free to subscribe. Go ahead down to the link in the description below and subscribe, and we'll make sure you have all those discounts. But again, it's right there on the Disney World website. You just have to kind of like look down at the bottom and search for it. Now, when it comes to dining around Disney Springs, be on the lookout for free loyalty program signups or happy hour opportunities that can help you save money on food and drinks. For instance, recently Summer House on the Lake started up a new martini happy hour that takes place Monday to Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. at the bar area. And this happy hour's got its own special menu and everything. There are 3 different martinis you can get on the menu, all for $10, the classic, an espresso martini, and a Finn Collins. And if you're not into martinis, then there's a great deal on red, white, and rosé wine, as well as a rotating beer discount. This martini hour also has a $10 bottomless truffle fry option you can get, which serves up to 4 people in your group. You can have as many of them as you want. And all you longtime DFB friends out there know how passionate I am about my Disney fries, especially ones with any sort of aioli included, so bottomless ones are speaking my language. We keep up with all of these different loyalty programs and happy hour announcements on our DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining. That's over at dfbstore.com, but we'll get more into that later on. And let's say you're in the middle of your Disney World vacation and you're already planning your next trip. Yeah, been there. We all do it. The Resort Future Stay offer is a really, really great deal that a lot of people have no idea even exists. This is called the Bounce Back offer. At least that's what we've called it for years and years and years. And it allows you to save between 25 and 35% on a future Disney World hotel if you book within 7 days of the end of your most recent Disney World hotel stay. I know, great marketing, right? Right. Details of this offer are provided on your in-room television, but they'll also be emailed to you on the final day of your stay. You might also find a flyer with the provided information in your room. And if you don't see any of that stuff, you can always just go down to the front desk and ask them about the bounce back offer. As far as merchandise is concerned, always check the Disney Store website before you purchase any park-specific souvenirs on property, because you might just find the same souvenirs with a discounted price. Not every time, but sometimes. Always worth checking it out just in case. This is only the tip of the discount iceberg when it comes to what you can save money on during your Disney World vacation. But if you're looking for even more money-saving tactics you can apply to your upcoming trip, we of course have you covered. Check out our free guide that'll give you a springboard of tips to help you pull off the cheapest Disney World trip possible. Just scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or head to disneyfoodblog.com/cheaptrip, and we're going to send it to your email super fast. Let's say you're trying to find an open table inside a quick service restaurant to set your full tray of food down at during the lunch rush when suddenly, eureka, you found one. Do you take path A and immediately snag that table and sit down before anyone else can, or take path B and look at the seat before you sit down? I guess you could choose path A if you really wanted to. But if you don't look before you sit at Disney World and a cast member hasn't had the chance to come around and clean that newly available table just yet, you might find yourself accidentally sitting in something that you won't want to, like a squirt of ketchup or melted chocolate from a Mickey Premium bar, or who knows what else. This is why it's good to have extra wet wipes and hand sanitizer in your park bag. Just taking that extra second to assess the situation and make sure the area is clean before you sit and start chowing down could be the difference between a peaceful meal and one that starts with you having an embarrassing stain on the back of your shorts for the rest of the day. But you know what? Accidents happen, and sometimes stains can show up on our clothes even if we're being super duper careful, which is why, along with packing some wet wipes in your bag, packing spare shorts or a t-shirt or even underpants could, at the very least, give you some peace of mind, knowing that if something happened that left a mess on your clothes, you got a backup plan ready to go. I know you guys think I'm crazy for putting this point in here, but we are speaking from experience. All of us here at DFB have had some situations. So just reminding you, look where you sit. Those first two forks in the road were easy. This one might be a little harder for you. Let's say you're in the middle of your Magic Kingdom day when suddenly your My Disney Experience app crashes. Yeah, this happens more often than you'd think. And it can become a major detour, especially when you're relying on this app to keep hold of all your advanced dining reservations and lightning lane selections and virtual queues and theme park tickets and the whole kit and caboodle. So do you take path A and just try to refresh the app over and over again, or take path B and track down help ASAP? Now this one's a trick question. You're actually going to want to take that sneaky path directly down the center of both paths because both are partially right. Truth be told, the DFB team and I have run into our fair share of My Disney Experience app glitches, and sometimes it really is all just a matter of spiriting the IT crowd mindset and turning your phone off and on again. Or you might be experiencing the technical issues you're experiencing simply because you haven't updated the app to its most recent version. Very common mistake, happens to the best of us and is super easy to fix. But then there are the app glitches that are really out of our control and take a lot more than a hard reset to fix. And when those happen, it's a really good idea to reach out to the park's guest services desk just so you can let them know what you're experiencing on your end. That way, a cast member can help you make sure your reservations for things are still good to go and give you some peace of mind. To help cast members better help you when it comes to recovering lost lightning lanes or reservations of any sort, make sure that you're taking screenshots of all those reservations and plans that you make directly through the app. That way, you'll have those receipts to prove to the cast members at guest services that you really did snag that Tiana's Bayou Adventure virtual queue before it was filled up, or that you paid for a Cosmic Rewind single pass lightning lane ahead of time. But then what happens if your app isn't letting you into your hotel room? What then? This happens to me all the time. If the My Disney Experience app is acting like a rebel child, chances are it's going to impact your Magic Band too. So if you're trying to scan into your room via the app or the Magic Band, you might find yourself locked out and very frustrated, especially if you are in one of those rooms that's way far away from the lobby. If this happens to you, don't panic. Just head to the front desk straight away and explain the situation. A cast member will be able to issue you a key card, easy peasy. But I will say this too, there have been times when I just haven't updated my app, or I needed to do a hard close and reopen the app in order to make it work. These are all things that have happened to me a bajillion times, and through trial and error, I've found that doing the app update helps the majority of the time. But this is why, even though I love being able to check into my room via the app and skip the front desk check-in altogether, I'll still more than likely pay a visit to the front desk at some point on my check-in day to ask for a physical key card before my first day in the parks, because few things are as frustrating as having a really long park day, getting back to your room, and finding out you can't access your room, meaning you gotta backtrack all the way to the hotel lobby and ask for a key card then instead. So take it from this girl who's super OCD about a lot of things. As you're going through the lobby, just stop and get some key cards just in case technology lets you down. The important thing to take away from all this, no matter which path ends up being the right path for your current predicament, is to never, ever, ever count all your reservations as a loss if things glitch out on you. Try resetting or updating or logging in and out of your account first just to see if that helps refresh your My Disney Experience app and bring back your reservations again. And if that doesn't work, track down those cast members, show them your screenshots, and they'll help you recover the stuff that you you fear that you've lost. They should be able to access it even without the screenshots, but always good to have that proof. Okay, I'm going to come out and just tell you the correct path to take here, because if you're wearing the wrong shoes in Disney World, you're going to find yourselves limping down whatever other paths you choose to take for the rest of the vacation. During our last meeting, my scriptwriter Bria and I had an extensive discussion about wearing the wrong shoes to Disney World and being forced to buy new shoes while on property. And yes, we know good and well that we tell you guys to never walk around the parks in a new pair of shoes if they're not yet broken in, unless you're just asking for a new pair of blisters too. So while our conversation was kind of embarrassing, a real tail between the legs moment for both of us, it was also therapeutic because at least we aren't alone in our ridiculous past decisions. So we're gonna pass on our horrid shoe stories to you now, but I'm gonna have Bria start.
Gee, thanks, AJ. I'm not gonna lie, I have multiple stories like this because I just can't learn my lesson apparently, but my most recent one was accidentally wearing a pair of Toms around Magic Kingdom. If you didn't know I was a millennial before, you do now. Toms are usually my go-to shoe, but their lack of arch support, or any support really, was my downfall that day. I still remember my niece pulling me towards Peter Pan's flight after we'd already logged like 25,000 plus steps, and when I tell you I was just about down on my hands and knees by the end of it, I'm not kidding. My husband was basically dragging me out of the park by the end of it. Not my finest hour by any means. The next day, we paid a visit to Disney Springs because, shock, shock, I had no extra pair of shoes beyond the Toms from before. And while we were there, I picked up something with way more arch support because thankfully the shopping district has a few shoe options available. The good thing about all of this is that I did have some blister band-aids already packed in my backpack, so I at least listened to some of my own advice. Yes, I very much did need those band-aids since my new shoes rubbed my heel the wrong way after a while. But don't worry, they're great now, and I'd still take a rubbed heel over walking around in Toms, which basically started to feel like I was walking around in my bare feet all day long. Okay, AJ, over to you.
Okay, I guess it's my turn now. I have two stories to share. The first is when I was in Epcot for a media event and I was wearing heels. Stupid choice. I know, stupid choice. It wasn't my first rodeo. I have no idea why I did this. But as I walked into Epcot through the International Gateway, because I was told I had to go to guest services, I didn't realize I had to go to guest services at the front of the park. And so I was already late and now had to walk all the way across Epcot and out the front entrance and go to guest services there in my heels. And by the time I got there, I was bleeding. I had blisters. It was unbelievable because I was basically running in heels, and you know, there aren't like the most expensive heels in the world. It was a bad scene, y'all. Another story I have to share with you, and these are all things that I've done since I started DFB. So it's not like I hadn't been to Disney World. Like, I knew what I was about. But anyway, second one, I was wearing flip-flops. Again, I always tell you not to wear flip-flops. What was I doing? And basically, again, just walking really, really fast around the park, running around the park to keep up with a friend of mine. And by the end of the day, I had so many blisters on my feet that I had to buy a 4-pack of socks, which probably cost me about a mortgage payment because it was in Disney World. And I had to put on all 4 pairs of socks and then somehow fit my flip-flops on over my socks so that I could actually just even walk to my car. It was a nightmare. So when we talk about this stuff, we're not joking around with you. This happens on a regular basis. Anyway, these are great do as we say, not as we do moments. Yes, more often than not, Bria and I are absolutely wearing shoes we can stand and walk in for thousands of steps each day when we're in Disney World. So we don't constantly need to buy shoes when we're on property, but let the record show that we are human, and the reason we know why we need to warn you about these things is because we already made these ridiculous decisions for you. In summary, to prevent having to buy new shoes or a 4-pack of socks while you're on property, the best types of shoes to bring with you on a Disney trip are ones that have already been broken in, but aren't so old that you're going to have to duct tape them back together. Shoes with good arch support, but not the kind of arch support you're going to get with high heels. Quick dry shoes or reliable sandals, since Orlando is well known for its afternoon rainstorms. And shoes you can rely on, which I know sounds a lot like point A, but really it's a good idea to take your shoes on a test run, either by walking around a mall or your local amusement park, just to see how they hold up after hours of walking and wearing them all day. Also, please pack blister band-aids and moleskin, just in case your shoe starts to irritate you in a way you weren't expecting. They can be lifesavers. Nothing feels better than moleskin on a blister and being able to walk again without just absolutely sobbing. Sorry, that was a long point, but I think it's really important. Now, here's another fork in the road that you'll encounter even before you're inside the Disney bubble. Imagine that you're planning a 2025 vacation, easy, and you realize that your summer vacation could very well fall during that late summer reopening of Test Track 3.0 and Epcot that you're so excited to experience. So do you take Path A and hold off on planning your vacation until you hear more about Test Track's specific opening date, or take Path B and plan that late summer vacation anyway, hoping that your trip falls during Test Track's opening timeline? Honestly, paths are split 50-50. Neither one is 100% the right answer for everyone. It all depends on how much flexibility you have to work with and how much you really want to ride that new ride. If you have the freedom to hold off on locking in your Disney vacation until you learn more about a certain opening date for something new that you've been anticipating, I'd absolutely recommend Path A. Just hold your horses, slow your roll, wait till you find out the opening date, because history has proven time and again, Disney's vague opening timelines give you a season, but no specific date attached to an experience opening, and those aren't always the most dependable. That's because if need be, Disney can always push back an experience's release season if they need a little more time to work on something. Like The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure. Good example over there in Hollywood Studios. Originally, this show was supposed to make its debut in fall of 2024, but Disney pushed back that opening season to summer 2025. One example of many, my friends, and it just goes to show how far back Disney can keep pushing a release date if need be. Really, the best time to experience something shiny and new on the Disney scene is a couple of months or more after that new experience is finally released. That way you won't have to worry about whether or not you're a guinea pig on one of those first rides, because there will probably be technical issues that Disney's got to work through while you're there, since new experiences, especially rides, have their fair share of breakdowns and mishaps a lot more frequently when they first open. Like in the case of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, she's still trying to find her footing, specifically in the animatronics department. However, this Tiana's Bayou Adventure is still up and running a lot more frequently now than when it first opened back in summer 2024, when it was down for maintenance a lot more often than it was open for business. On the flip side, planning your trip entirely around a new attraction just isn't always feasible. Not to mention, more often than not, it's going to be a gamble. For example, if you're going to be traveling with kids, or you or someone in your travel group is a teacher, you're all trying to plan a summer vacation together, then you probably don't have that extra flexibility to just wait around and find out if the new ride or lounge or experience you want to see is going to be opening during your trip. Because there's always the possibility that one of those things is going to be pushed back to a later opening date that doesn't work for you. Not to mention, if you wait too long before booking anything, you could put your group in a financial bind. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, Test Track 3.0 does open at the end of summer, like towards the end of July or beginning of August, but Disney doesn't release that information until you're like a month away from Test Track's grand opening. So suddenly you're scrambling to book your trip, but paying for that vacation package is now way more of a financial stressor, since vacation packages have to be paid in full 30 days or more away from your vacation. So we always recommend being careful not to plan your vacation around one specific thing, one specific ride that's opening at this particular time frame, or a restaurant or hotel. New stuff in Disney is super exciting, but it's just too much of a gamble to plan a whole multi-$1,000 vacation around that. Disney just pushes stuff back way too often. If you really do want to see one of these new experiences, hold off on your trip altogether and wait for a future timeline that aligns more with your schedule and your can't miss new experiences when that thing's been open for a little while. I know, waiting can be tough, but when it comes to a once-in-a-lifetime experience, it's also a major expense. You want to make sure you get things right. I promise this one's not a trick question. Picture this. You've got a coworker who's been to Disney a bunch of times, and she hears that you're about to go to Disney soon too. So she tells you about her best Disney dining recommendations, the ones you absolutely cannot miss out on, or else you're doing Disney flat out wrong. Did you take Path A and book the restaurants she recommends so you don't have to worry about doing any extra research, or take Path B and keep her recs under consideration but do your own research too? The correct path, Path B. Your coworker probably means well, and who knows, she might know your dining preferences to a T. However, you don't want to specifically rely on someone else's taste when it comes to your family's dining adventures around the park. Not even mine. That's why I share what I think is going to be of the most use to you when you're figuring out what your family's going to like. I don't know what your family likes. That's up to you. So I just tell you everything that you need to know about the restaurant so you can make the right choices. Like, If she's recommending Cinderella's Royal Table in Magic Kingdom, she'll definitely be recommending one of the coolest dining experiences in all of Disney World from an aesthetic and meet and greet standpoint, but she might not know what your budget looks like, and Cindy's place is going to cost you a pretty penny while serving up food that's okay, but maybe not the greatest quality out there. Or if she's recommending, say, Le Cellier Steakhouse in Epcot, so do I, because those steaks are amazing, but your coworker might not be thinking about the 3 kids you'll also have in tow who probably won't be all too thrilled to dine in a sophisticated wine cellar for the next hour and a half. That's why the DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining is critical to me, and hopefully you feel the same way. What started out as a pipe dream 15 years ago, hoping that I could someday help out all types of Disney families and travel groups who were planning on dining around the Disney bubble, has now blossomed in a way I would have never thought possible. And because it's blossomed, thanks to all the support from you, I now have a super awesome book and writing team that I can brainstorm alongside to create new DFB guides that cater to so many more Disney World palates and preferences out there. That's because our team is made up of all different types of people and families with all different kinds of tastes. So you never have to worry about picking up one of our guides and getting a bunch of biased information. We review every single restaurant on property every year and make sure that we recommend it to the right type of group instead of to all types of groups. So if you're interested in checking out our brand new DFB guides, make sure to hit up dfbstore.com when you get the chance. And as an extra, gee, thanks for being here from me to you, go ahead and type in code YouTube before you check out for some extra savings off your purchase. Thank you in advance for any support, and thank you for all the support you've given me in the past. Alrighty, I'm going to cut to the chase with this fork in the road. When it comes to booking a room for your Disney World vacation, do you take path A and book the cheapest option, or take path B and book the Disney option? Yes, this is the question of a lifetime for a lot of us. For some, the path you might naturally gravitate towards will be the cheapest option, since you're already paying beaucoup dollars for the Disney parks tickets and restaurants and airfare in the first place. But the cheapest option doesn't always need to be your default option, because it might come back to bite you in the end. Bria's got a little story for you.
Hey friends, it's me, Bria, again. I wanted to pop in real quick because this reminds me of one of my previous trips that I just took to Disney World with my sister-in-law and my husband, and we decided to pitch in for an Airbnb. Was it a cheaper option than even Disney's value hotels could provide us with? Yes. Was it super spacious and gave us all our own rooms, plus separate bathrooms, plus a full kitchen? Yes. Did we miss staying on Disney property? Oh yeah. The thing about staying in an Airbnb is that you're gonna be missing out on all those Disney hotel perks, like early theme park entry, free resort transportation, and extended evening hours, which are for deluxe resort guests only, but hey, still a solid perk that you're missing right there. We also missed out on having any resort pool days. And while some Airbnbs do have private pools in their backyards, those Airbnb pool privileges will more than likely cost you an extra fee each day. And speaking of extra fees, you've always got to look at the fine print for places like Airbnb and Vrbo, because that initial asking price isn't always the final asking price, especially if the owners add extra cleaning fees to the total cost. Airbnbs and Vrbos also tend to give you some extra duties before you check out that you wouldn't normally have to worry about if you were just staying at a hotel, like stripping the sheets, or washing the dishes, or collecting dirty towels and putting them in the bathtubs, or taking out the trash. Sure, these Airbnb owners aren't just straight up asking you to fully scrub down their house for them or anything, but if you forget about these extra tasks, you'll more than likely be charged an extra fee. And if you're anything like me, you wait to do all these extra tasks the morning that you're supposed to leave, meaning you're waking up earlier just to get it all done. And then there's the whole cancellation policy mess. With Disney, cancellation policies can be a bit more forgiving, but with Airbnb and Vrbo cancellations, it's all pretty much up to the sites and owners' discretion, which can be a headache depending on the circumstances. And then there's the whole you're missing out on staying inside the Disney bubble concept. Some Airbnbs have really cool theming to help make up for that, but with the Airbnb me and my hubby booked, it was just a nice, regular old house, and yeah, it was great, but there was none of that Disney magic attached. Will we be booking an Airbnb for Disney in the future? Oh, probably. It's hard to skip out on having a whole house to yourself, especially when you're traveling with other folks and you want everyone to have their own space. But I think there's a time and place for these third-party rentals, and it's not going to be a path that works for all families. especially if you're looking for more of those Disney park conveniences.
Now, Bria brings up a lot of good points here. Airbnbs can be good and bad. You gotta do that research. But I think it's important to understand that it's not just Airbnbs and Verbos that can have their theme park disadvantages. Even Disney's Good Neighbor hotels can sometimes lead you astray too. The great thing about Disney's Good Neighbor hotels is that they partner with Disney, so you can still get many of the same Disney park perks that you'd normally get with a Disney-owned hotel stay at a potentially more affordable price point. This includes early theme park entry and transportation to and from the parks. Not to mention, many Good Neighbor hotels also have perks that go beyond what Disney provides, like continental breakfast and free drink coupons and theme park transportation to other theme parks. However, not every Good Neighbor hotel has early entry perks, so you'll need to check the Disney World website beforehand to see if the hotel you want to book will actually give you the benefits you want. Good Neighbor hotel transportation can also be a bit of a headache at times. While some Good Neighbor hotels might promise Disney shuttle services, they could end up having very limited time frames that they're actually operating around. Another Bria story.
Oh my goodness. Yes, AJ. So get this. One of the previous Good Neighbor hotels that I stayed at only had 2 morning pickup times for the Disney parks, one at 7:40 a.m. and the other at 9:45 a.m. And these morning shuttles would only take you over to Animal Kingdom, Epcot, or Hollywood Studios. So in order to get to Magic Kingdom, you had to take a bus over to Epcot and then hitch a ride on another Disney bus or the monorail from there. And then, if you wanted to be picked up by the shuttle at the end of the night, you could only be picked up from Epcot at 9:30 p.m. or 10:30 p.m. Meaning if you were at any other park, you'd still have to make a trip over to Epcot just to board your bus back to the hotel. It was madness.
The lesson here, well, not every Good Neighbor hotel is going to have a bus schedule that you've got to majorly plan around. Some of them will. So if you're going to be relying on shuttle services to get you from place to place and you're not planning on driving yourself or paying for ride shares, do your research and make sure the hotel you're selecting is going to mesh well with your family's itinerary. Ooh, it looks like you got a break day in the middle of your vacation. This is exciting. Do you take Path A and stay inside the Disney bubble, or take Path B and venture outside of what has been deemed as the most magical place on Earth? Look at that. Looks like there's no correct path to take on this one, so just take the path that works for you. Path A could be the path for you depending on the variables of your trip. I mean, Disney's got a lot of stuff to fill your break days with, from Disney Springs to mini golf to resort hopping to water parks. But if you never leave the Disney bubble, then you might miss out on some really cool stuff in Orlando. For instance, there's Legoland, there's SeaWorld, Orlando Science Center, the Bach Tower Gardens are beautiful, zip lining and rope courses, the Crayola Experience, musicals and concerts, Orlando Museum of Art, escape rooms. Is there anything else that I'm missing? No, I can't think of a single thing. So if you're planning a trip to Disney World, remember that you're not obligated to stay in Disney World all trip long. There are plenty of other things to see and do around the Orlando area that, who knows, you might even want to sacrifice an extra park day or two just to check out. Come on, did y'all really think I was going to leave Universal Orlando high and dry like that? Not me. Universal Orlando is Disney's biggest theme park competitor in the area, and they're about to get a whole lot bigger once May rolls around. On May 22nd, 2025, Universal will be opening its 3rd park gate, Epic Universe, bringing to life realms of How to Train Your Dragon, Super Nintendo World, Dark Universe, Wizarding World, Ministry of Magic, and Celestial Park. So this fork in the road we've just encountered seems to have gotten a whole lot more significant, since per the release of this video, the only way to check out Universal's brand new park is by purchasing at least a 3-day park ticket, which comes with tickets to Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure too. That is, unless you're an annual pass holder, which I'm guessing you're not if you're at this fork in the road. Universal is also opening 3 new hotels too. One just opened recently at the end of January. Stella Nova is Universal's newest place to stay right now, labeled under the Prime Value category, and it's themed around the cosmos. Fun fact, the space images in the lobby are all real NASA images that have been recreated for this hotel, so Universal went all out with the theming of this place. Stella Nova is super close to Universal's Park to Be, same as its up-and-coming sister Prime Value resort, Terra Luna, which is slated to open on March 25th. And then there's Universal's Helios Grand Hotel, which will open right alongside the new park, since this premier level resort actually has a dedicated entrance that leads you right into Epic Universe. We've got lots of Universal Orlando videos that we've recently released and several more to come, especially leading up to Epic Universe's big opening day. So if Universal is going to be a bigger part of your 2025 vacation this year, or even if you're just thinking about it but you haven't committed either way, be sure to check out those videos when you get the chance, and stay tuned for future Epic Universe planning videos making their way down our pipeline. Wait, hold on. Is this actually a fork in the road you have to decide on to have fun at Disney World? Yes, it is. Disney World is a fun time, but it can be super stressful when lines are long and crowds are thick and time's a ticking and your kid is having a meltdown and your husband's being a jerk. It's easy to slip into that mindset of, I spent thousands of dollars to be here and my family's not going to be able to see even 1/3 of all this stuff. Yep. I've been there. I've done that. It's not a fun thing to be stuck in. And when you start to panic about needing to do it all and do it perfectly in the middle of your vacation, please use me as your personal Jiminy Cricket, because I'm telling you, your conscience right now, that it's okay to take a deep breath and relax. Truth is, nobody can do it all in Disney World. Nobody can do it perfectly, especially not in a single trip. I can't do it all, and I've given up on ever making that a goal, because if I try, it just makes me miserable by the end of it. The key here, whenever you start to feel stressed out that the weather's going to be bad, or this ride is going to close, or you're going to miss going to that restaurant you were looking forward to, is to stop and refocus and remember that just being there is the fun part. No leveling up in terms of more rides or newer restaurants is necessary. And if you're having a good time, your kids are more apt to be having a good time. And they'll never know that they only complete 30 to 40% of the things there is to do inside Magic Kingdom. I promise. And now it's time for you to forge your own path towards your next Disney World adventure. Don't worry, we're not going to leave your side. We got plenty of other videos waiting for you to check out, including a whole playlist strictly dedicated to 2025 Disney World park planning. And don't forget to pick up your free guide to help you plan your cheapest trip to Disney World, which you can find at disneyfoodblog.com/cheaptrip right now. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.